And I'm afraid the test came out positive for AIDS. I'm sorry.
It's a sad fact of business that the first to market is often punished. Innovation comes with a price. Friendster, Palm Pilot, Betamax, these were pioneers. But look where it got them. And for LA AIDS Jabber, released 1 year before David Fincher's Seven, leading the way led to ruin. Audiences needed to be primed for something this real. And in 1994, they just weren't ready. A lot was going on, after all. OJ, Beanie Babies, Forrest Gump. Some say it was the peak of the American empire. And maybe with all that good energy in the air, people just weren't willing to embrace the dark themes of a work like LA AIDS Jabber. But they should have. And now, thanks to TUBI, we all get an opportunity to soak in this underrated gem. Let's get to it. This is Drew Goddard's sole directing credit, but you may know him as man-accosting blonde from 1987's Cannibal Hookers. His style is lean and classic, nothing wasted. And I sort of believe he's an actor's director because he clearly let these guys do whatever the fuck they wanted.
And he pulled a knife from his pocket and he cut himself and told me he was going to cut and infect me.
The titular Jabber is Jeff, played surprisingly well by Jason Majik, spelled M-A-J-I-K. That's real. Look it up. Is he convincing?
This could be a misdiagnosis, right? I mean, come on, Doc. It's me we're talking about.
But is he expressive?
This can't be happening. This can't be happening.
Yes, he is. We're talking Nicolas Cage, not Robert Duvall. And it works. I'm buying that he's troubled before he has AIDS.
Have you seen your psychiatrist lately?
2 weeks ago. And he told me I was crazy as they come.
I'm buying that he gets AIDS.
I got AIDS. Hey!
I'm buying that he gets home and immediately puts a gun in his mouth. There's pathos in the performance. Jason Majik didn't have a long career, but you might recognize him from an episode of Beverly Hills 90210 or Fart, the movie.
Starring Heather McComb, Christine Steele, Kevin Farley, John Farley, and Seth Walter in Fart,
The Jabber is an everyman character. Dead-end job with a boss he hates, girlfriend who is loyal and loving but he's bored by, and a shooting stomach cramp that comes and goes that directs him to the hospital, and that's where they find out that the man has AIDS. Not HIV, but full-blown AIDS. Now, if you're under a certain age, maybe AIDS doesn't mean that much to you. But in 1994, it was still a terrifying prospect.
No cures yet, right? I mean, no matter how you look at it, it's a death sentence.
People were still ignorant about it. There was no amount of green tea that was going to get you to old age.
Are there any cures? I mean, did anybody ever live from it, huh?
It wasn't a good death. AIDS quilt. I don't know. If you're fucking 25, look it up. So Jeff doesn't take the news well. I don't know what stage of grief or revenge is, but Jeff is stuck there. He makes a list of people he wants to kill, and he starts filling syringes with his infected blood. His doctor, sensing it's not good for a guy with violent tendencies and a short fuse to be sitting at home with a new AIDS diagnosis, sends a social worker to Jeff's house. It doesn't go well. It just amplifies his thirst for vengeance. From there, cops and reporters enter as the B and C stories.
What's going on? We heard there was a homicide here.
And if there's any criticism, and I mean any, to level at LA AIDS Jabber, it's that the script loses some focus around this time. I understand the impulse. You want to show the effects that the Jabber is having on the city. You want, who is trailing him. You feel like you can't just be following around a guy stabbing women with an AIDS needle the whole movie. But yes, you could have. Yes, you should have. We care about Jeff, and we care about his syringes full of AIDS. We don't care about the detective's family story.
Mommy, I love you.
I love you too, sweetie. How's Mommy's favorite little cowboy doing?
Good.
Only thing wrong with this movie, I'm just going to underline that. The only thing wrong with this movie is these boring-ass B and C stories. If you just put a camera over the shoulder of Jeff as he ran through Los Angeles stabbing people with an AIDS needle, cinema gold. Instead, you got this balkanized mess of a film at points. But we need more Jeff. We need more Jabber, right? Now, he does jab, right? You're not getting ripped off. He hits the prostitute that he thinks gave him AIDS in the neck.
Tanya, little whore.
He smashes his boss. There's some good stuff here. In no-budget filmmaking, the major issue isn't the stepped-on look or even the wooden performances. It's tone confusion. It's hard to take something shot on video in 1994 very seriously. So the scripts for those films often don't take themselves seriously. They're sort of a winking acknowledgement. That's a mistake. Somewhere in the history of exploitation cinema, too much self-awareness entered the formula, and it's proven impossible to wash out. And it's disappointing. That's why I'm going to pay L.A. Age Jabber the highest compliment I can. The movie plays it straight. 99% of the time, this is acting like it is a Hollywood production, and that earns my admiration. Because if you wink too much, you're blind, right? Sorry for the metaphor there, but you just stay focused, try to make a movie, and by virtue of the fact that you chose to follow a guy with an AIDS syringe, it is going to be exploitation. You don't need to hammer all of the elements of exploitation. You've already arrived there with your concept. And that's what this movie does. It's an angry guy with AIDS and a revenge hit list, and it's a thriller. Not a horror comedy, which is what this movie would be if it was a failure. Because going for AIDS jokes, even in 1994, was just too easy. The concept itself is edgy, fun. Say no more, fam. By taking the hard road, forcing this mostly amateur cast to play the thing like a Hollywood film, the movie works. And when I say amateur, I mean the total combined credits of the cast across their entire careers adds up to fewer movies than Jackie Chan made in 1986. These aren't even repertory theater types. This is real DIY filmmaking. You grab your friends, you pull favors, here's some pizza, roll tape. And it feels like in 2025, when making a movie should be easier than ever, we're getting less of that DIY feel. So LA Age Jabber is a nice reminder that literally all you need is a camera. LA Age Jabber is currently on TUBI and worth your hour and 18 minutes.
If she were a man, I'd bust her in the chops.